We are back.
Alright. Just like start stream as fast as we can. Just tell us when
Stream
you're
is
on.
up, stream is up. So it's 33-60. Camden has the lead here, and they have no penalty. Alright.
Alright, it's not over, but Camden are very close to winning this. Alright, they're just a few more ticks, and Camden not able to take it. Okay, sorry for the OBS crashing. We are back, and Frutella is still alive.
At least we got that clutch save there coming up from Frutella. 56 points remaining. No penalty on their side. Now they need to get these splats, and they need to get as much as they can take. But their members are going down. 30 points remaining. Camden taking their time to push in, which might prove their downfall here, because Frutella, they're putting up a wall here. They're not letting Camden in.
Right now, very nice splat by the Crabs, and Camden are fighting for this zone. They need to apply penalty. Frutella could very much get the comeback. We're entering the last minute, and the zone is still for Frutella, but there's a wipeout by Camden. Camden retaking the zone, retaking control, and in this last minute, all they need to do is hold.
Oh, that is a lot of penalty applied to Frutella here. 53 points. 40 seconds remaining. It's going to be about this or maybe one more fight here. So the specials are going to come out. We see that Zepcaster, we see the Booyah Bomb, and here comes that Killer Whale in response. The Tri-Strikes, they're going to take zone. The zone is flipped. That's penalty applied, but at this point, that doesn't really matter. It's a splat onto the bucket, but Frutella, they keep control. 20 seconds remaining. They need to get these splats. They can't go down here. That's two down on Camden. Frutella playing out of their mind right now. That's a second pick. Bake goes down. 10 seconds remaining. They're pushing up. They get splatted. 6 seconds remaining. It's a trade, though, onto that S-Blast here.
Yeah, I mean, Frutella needs
that overtime.
Yeah, they need the overtime victory. There isn't that much penalty left. Frutella are doing a great job of holding, of keeping Camden away from the zone. They only need to counter that crab. If they survive that crab, they can win this game. They can win this set. 2 down, 3 down. It's only the splash. The splash is out. And that's game set for Frutella. Incredible comeback. I'm so sad we didn't see all of that game, but what a game we saw.
I need to catch my breath. That was a spectacular map, to say the least. To put it simply, Frutella made an amazing comeback. And you know, Camden put themselves in such a good position throughout the entirety of the map, at least what we can tell by score. And then Frutella, they just clutch moment. Camden really took their time getting in on that second to last fight when Frutella was knocking down their penalty or knocking down the raw points, and it put themselves in a position where Frutella didn't have to have a lot of points left to take the lead.
Yeah,
they just had that penalty to work through.
It's not often that you see a reverse sweep. It's unique and special. Frutella were able to do it, are going to advance, still in a winner's bracket. It's not over for Camden. They are going to the lower bracket where they have more games to play, but we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with winners semifinals between Hypernova and Tamariz. Don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back in. We have Hypernova versus Tamaris here, winner semifinals, and this is going to be a series. If anything told us about that last match, we are at the point of this tournament where we are at high-level teams duking it out in evenly, distributed matches of skill. So this is going to be a banger.
Yeah, I mean, and we see Hypernova, and well-established NA team that's coming to Europe to fight on the zones. On the other hand, Tamaris, technically, they are not a team on Sendu, but I've seen them to play together under that name for several tournaments, and I'm glad to see them come together again to show us good games. We're going to start with Undertow Spillway, a map that was chosen by Hypernova. A map that isn't that classic, but that I love because I love double zones. Whatever the map it is, it's always fun to see double zones. I love the dynamic it gives to the game, Antonin.
I mean, my favorite Splatoon 2 map back when I started playing Splatoon for the first time was, oh lord, my memory is failing me. It was a double zones map, and it never came back. Didn't come back in 3. And I think everyone liked it. But then again, I liked Kelp Dome. So everybody liked it might be a controversial statement. But it's gonna be this is gonna be a fantastic series, and I love starting on this map.
Yeah, I mean, it's always an interesting map to watch. Unique map that allows teams to play weapons that are more oriented around edges and corners and walls. We'll see who has the best blasters, the best rollers and slushers for this map, who is able to take the most out of it. Let's get right in the game. On the side of Hypernova, we see an Octobrush by that kid. Tamaris, on the other hand, with an S-Blast and a Slusher. That's going to be a lot of firepower for these walls. We'll see how these two teams can do.
Okay, here we go. These teams are duking it out. No unconventional choices here. Like the paintbrush coming out, but here we go. It's going to be a fight for control over both these zones. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but it looks like Tamaris are going to come out on top with this fight.
Yeah, and teams are still fighting for mid, but it looks like Tamaris are able to take control right there. That kid diving in with the Octobrush. Able to set himself there, but not able to get the splats yet. Alwo with that crab tank, not finding much, and another splatter skull screen is going to enable Hypernova to really take control this time. 2 down on Tamaris, and Hypernova is going in and getting more and more splats.
A fantastic pick from that kid. Not able to take that last member up at the top, but you take one for that Zipcaster usage. Henlo here on the right, and a little bit of a pickle, but manages to get the pick onto that bucket, and now they're Hypernova. They're just picking off one by one the members who are trying to funnel in.
Hypernova is not stopping right there, getting more and more. Tamaris need to use all of their specials to get in, but the punish on the crab tank is going to be pretty rough. It's only Fantar left to paint right there with the bucket. Fantar able to secure the jump, but not able to secure enough to control the zones. Hypernova is going to get game number 1.
A good pick, good double there by Fantar, but not enough. Hypernova just played fantastic on that defense there of the zone. Tamaris, maybe, a little bit of communication issues, or just Hypernova's great defense there, but those pushes, they were going down individually on, you know, their attacks, and it led to Hypernova having consistent defenses. But now we're gonna go on to the second map here, and I'm excited to see what tomorrow's is gonna, if there's gonna be a change up, or they're gonna play more aggression, a strategy difference.
Mhm.
I'm excited to see what changes.
I mean, we saw Tamaris really struggle right there on the Toe Spillway. I mean, it's a very unique map. Now we're going to a known quantity where Tamaris has the experience, where they know what to expect, what to do. They've seen it all on this map, which could make things a bit more even, especially since Tamaris, they have a great crab tank in Alwo. And crab tank on here can take the control, can really retake the zone by itself. We'll see if Tamaris is able to set that up, or if a Hypernova maintains the pressure, maintains the speed that they had in game number 1.
Yes, Hagglefish Market here, a very consistent map that these teams have played. So excited, you know, first map, not always too much played, right? It is decently high up on the list, I'd say, but it's definitely not as much played on zones as I'd say a map like Robo Ramen or Umami Ruins here for a double
Still-
zones map, you know?
It's still
It's
a
still-
classic for me.
still
Like,
a
it's
classic.
still, to me,
It's-
the zone's classic map. And it's going to stay that way in my head for a long time. Both teams going to the zone, trying to get in, as Hypernova maintaining pretty much, both teams maintaining their comp. They want to make it work. It's a different map, so we'll see how it works.
Here we go.
Ooh.
It's going to be an aggressive start from Tamaris here, managing to find 2, and
Ooh,
it seems like the change in scenery was all that was needed. Fantaro going in, not able to pick it up, but that's the plays you get to make when you have Cooler on your side. 30 points remaining. We see the jump onto Alwo here. Out comes the Booyah Bomb, and it is a sinker, managing to push all the members of Tamaris back with the Tri-Strikes in response. A fantastic pick from that kid, though.
yeah, Hypernova able to set themselves back onto the zone to apply a penalty. They had to use all of their specials, except for that hammer, just to put themselves in front of that zone. And now Tamaris preparing the pushback, and Halwo activating the crab tank again. A huge crab tank helped with the Booyah Bomb. That's an easy retake for Tamaris, but they still have to fight for it. Oh, 2 down onto a Hypernova. It looks like Tamaris are going to indeed take back control.
Aura Boy playing on the right side with that S-Blast, but a fantastic push onto this point. They weren't able to immediately flood in, so they picked off the members on the sides, but the Hypernova having their own fantastic push as well, as they managed to get 3 uncoolered members of Tamaris down, and that's a fantastic pick and play to make here. A Booyah Bomb going to the right, maybe a little bit too far, but Tamaris going, or Hypernova going 3 down there. Alwo with some fantastic picks. He's gonna have Crab Tank ready and available right in the middle of this zone, and that's gonna be zone flipping. Tamaris able to keep the lead here.
I mean, Tamaris right there, very much setting themselves in front of the zone again. Fanta going in so deep with that slosher, is punished for it, but Alwo is able to finish the job. And Tamaris are scoring points right now. They don't have any penalty left. Henlo losing that hammer to no results, and there's only 30 ticks left onto the zone. Tamaris still holding, Tamaris still scoring. They're just painting as much as they can. Screen is deployed. That screen needs to help. Sorry, take the zone.
And here it is. Hypernova ended up taking that zone off the back of the screen special. Screen, such a good special for pushing back in. And it works! Wipeout! Hypernova! I blinked and I missed it. 4 go down on the side of Tamaris. An amazing play, coordinated play by their team, and it works out in their favor.
Hypernova, they play off of this bladder scholar screen incredibly well every time. These screens have given them a lot of control and are forcing Tamaris to really think twice, move back, wait a little bit. And right now, all the specials are thrown at the zone. Tamaris want to keep their lead, but Hypernova painting as much as they can. Synapse is going to get splatted. Alvo is punished right there, 2 down on Tamaris, 3 down. Hypernova holding the zone, taking the lead. It looks like Hypernova are on their way to a 2-0.
And that is going to be map 2 going the way of Hypernova. The paint was just not there. The crab tank not able to flip the zone. It was fantastic plays, a fantastic comeback there coming out from Hypernova there to secure the map 2. Tamaris looked so much cleaner and better there at the beginning, but then Hypernova, they found those picks, they found those plays, and it was off the back of a couple of really well coordinated pushes that Hypernova ended up making that comeback.
Yeah, I mean, Tamaris had control for so long, were able to do so much by Hypernova. Once again, once they're able to really set themselves up for success, they stay there, they don't move, and they keep that control. Now going on to Barnacle and Dime, a map where that kind of strategy, where that kind of playstyle is often rewarded, it's going to be an uphill battle for Tamaris.
That is going to be an uphill battle, but will we see the second reverse sweep in a row? Will it happen?
Don't say it
There's
until it happens. Don't. Yeah. You're not gonna summon it by saying it, you know?
I'm only jinxing it just a little bit, but Barnacle and Dime here, I mean, this is a map where you can really push your advantages. Tamaris played amazingly at the beginning of map 2, right? They found their picks, they found that starting fight, and they held off the starter push of Hypernova. They played well, and Hypernova had to come into their own on that second half of the map here. But on Barnacle and Dime, it's a lot harder to do that with how aggressive you can play this map.
Yeah, it is very rough indeed. Let's see what is rough. It looks like that kid is bringing the mini Splatling for control right there. And yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a change by Hypernova. We'll see if that works for them. Tamaris opening pretty strong again, setting themselves in, but the Splatter Scholar screen is slowing them down every single time.
They're not able to get that pick, but that was just a 1v1. These teams are back in the neutral here, and the zone is going to go yellow, but Tamar is in a fantastic position to push back in. They take out that mini here, and they're going to try to push off the back of that, and that's that neutralization. It's so back and forth in these teams. No advantage has been gained, but that swiper on the left, the pick is found one for one as the tri-strikes go down. Again, back and forth, which is completely different than what we've seen past two maps.
Yeah, I mean, Tamaris right now able to take control of the center of the map. Not able to... Okay, they get the zone finally, but they let Hypernova get back in position to contest again, which means another fight for mid. Fanta dancing around with that slusher, getting a double, holding the zone, and forcing a Hypernova to wait a little bit more, but another Splatter Scholar screen means Hypernova moves again.
That Splatter Scholar screen, free push tool with how well Hypernova's been using it, and the penalty is going to go by. 2 members down on the side of Hypernova, gonna make these members back off. And that's going to be the Crab Tank securing a lot of control and this zone here for Tamaris. Now, can they push off the back of that? That's a third down onto Hypernova. And Fantal taking up this very aggressive position here all the way down ramp.
Very nice moves by Fanta, regrouping with the team to get a drink right there. Tamaris getting the lead, putting themselves in the right position. Nice trade right there with the blaster, forcing Henlo's hammer. Henlo able to find one, but getting punished by KitKat on the pencil, of course, and KitKat is holding that zone. No penalty on Tamaris, who are still making more and more points. 20 ticks left. This could be the start of a huge comeback by Tamaris.
This could be the start of a huge comeback. 10 points remaining, 5 points remaining here. Will the yellow paint go down? It will not. The zone stays purple, and Tamaris secure map 3 here.
Yeah, great moves by Tamaris. They figured out that splatter score screen. The trick is to move forward and splat it before it's deployed.
Yes. Finding that push before the splatter color screen could get down. Gotta play around this screen. Hypernova's using it so well, but if you could stop Hypernova before they're able to deploy their specials, right? Since they're playing so well to their specials, push aggressively when you think they're about to get them, before they're, while they're thinking and coordinating about how they're going to play these specials, where they're going to place them. You might just be able to catch Hypernova consistently off guard and keep advantages going. And we're going to see how this is going to play out here on map 4, Robo Ramen. Is Tamaris going to be able to play around, they played around their specials really well.
Yeah.
There on map 3. Are they going to be able to keep up that game plan? Barnacle Time very aggressive. Robo Ramen, Splatoon maps are decently aggressive, but there are a lot more alternate ways to get around. There's alternate flank routes. There is that whole entire bottom floor. There's a lot more space to kind of play around, and it's less of a Tetris piece. So,
well, it looks like it's a brush map. Right there, Hypernova bringing a brush along with the wiper. That's going to be an ultra aggro, constant fighting on the side of Hypernova, and it's really on Tamaris to hold strong, to not lose their position with the weapons that they have.
It looks like it's doing decently well. It's a pick onto Hypernova. Hypernova getting that first push with that screen, but they're not able to find the picks. But as soon as I say that, one member goes down. Tamaris on the back foot here. This is where Hypernova's comp is going to start to shine. Is it going to push as aggressively as they can here? But it's a Crab Tank, the Bastion in response. And the picks from KitKat, that's going to put a big advantage here. But there's a push onto that. Oh, but it's a 1-for-1 trade. But that allows the zone to get flipped. It still stays green. And with that screen, Tamaris going to get bottled up behind it. But they get the picks. Hypernova goes 2 down.
Yeah, 2 down on each side. It was a now Hypernova are maintaining the pressure. Even with a few players down, they're able to hold the 2 more down. Means Tamaris get back control of the zone for free. Now can they set themselves up? They let Hypernova get a huge lead. Now it's their turn to be in the driving seat, and they lose their 2 frontliners already.
Here it goes. Screen comes out. Synapse going to push onto this S-Blast. Takes the pick. Tries to push forward. Has to fall down here. But they stay alive, and that's important. Here comes out the Killer Whale. It takes 1. Going to push back the members. The rest of these Tamaris members. There's 30 points remaining. 20 on the penalty. A fantastic pick onto KitKat. And you can see they're able to play so aggressively and then just drop down. Scot-free. The power of this map. They're playing their comp strength so well. And Tamaris on the back foot here, they find that pick. Can they push off the back of it?
I mean, Hypernova, they're going so fast in. Tamaris are struggling to get back forward. Alvo activating that Crab Tank in the enemy screen, able to really hold the opponent at bay. It's working pretty well for Tamaris right now. No penalty. Very much ahead of the zone in the good position that they want to have. Can KitKat keep themselves alive? No, it's still 2v2 though. Fanta is there to defend the zone. There isn't that many points of lead, but Hypernova is able to apply penalty for now.
very spectacular picks and an unfortunate, I believe, missed jump. Jump to the wrong member there coming out from Tamaris. It gets canceled and it gives Hypernova a chance to get back in. And they're taking that chance and they are putting it all on red 8 here as they're going to push in super aggressively with this screen. Just look how aggressive this push is. They're all the way onto that wood side here. And that's going to... I mean, 20 points remaining with a push like that. Yes, they go 2 down, but it's time. Time is not on Tamaris' side, and the zone has to get painted purple here. 4 points remaining, and it does get painted with that Booyah Bomb. Here comes out the Crab Tank. A close defense, but unnecessary defense coming out there. Alwo taking that pick onto Lexi there with that crab is going to be fantastic. When the zone gets neutralized, it's looking very green. That kid in a fantastic sharking position, though.
Yeah, and that sharking is working so well. That that make that free. It's a wipeout from Hypernova. With 1 minute left, Hypernova have so much of an advantage there. And of course, the splatter scatter screen is going to simply hold Tamaris in their spawn right now.
Such a good play, and there's not a lot of penalty left, and time again becoming the factor here. Here comes out the Booyah, here comes out the crab. That kid's gonna take that crab, but gets splatted in response, but it's not gonna be enough from Tamaris. Hypernova take the fourth map here, put themselves up onto 3-1, and will be moving on to that winners finals.
Yeah, very well played by Hypernova. Taking control of these games. Tamaris, I mean, able to bring the fight, able to counter a lot, able to set themselves, take control, take the lead, take points. But in the end, Hypernova a bit more efficient, a bit more effective in what they are doing. They're going to advance on to the finals on the winner's side, where the opponent is not decided, that it's 2-1 between Futela and Vanguard right there. So we'll see after the break who is able to take it. But when I say we, Ansonen, we are going to have to leave unless 2 overcasters take the microphones. Before we go, can you plug yourself?
Yes, you can find me on the Hell Spawn that is Twitter at that tag on your screen at Ansonen4. You can also find me on Twitch at AnsonenFGC as well, and Blue Sky under ansonen.bluesky.social as well. I'm kind of everywhere and nowhere at once. Pat, where can we find you?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Badger.com. It's written on your screen right now, and that's pretty much it. I'd like to give a special shout out to Kader, a wonderful observer. Kader, kinda struggling with difficult internet. We're sorry about that, but we're doing our best, and we'll be back after this break with winners finals. Don't go anywhere.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Triton-Cup 104. We are coming at y'all with winners finals. I'm Sig Dakari. Joining me on the mic is Pat. And Pat, what are the two teams we have here?
Well, we have two teams that we already saw on stream earlier. We saw Hypernova win in their semifinals against Tamaris, absolutely dominating, taking control, and we saw Frutella in quarters. They managed to win their semis against Vanguard, the scene number 1 of this tournament. So congratulations to Frutella for that. Now they are fighting for that spot in grand finals, and we'll see how these two teams are able to do. We will start with the zones map, the classic, the gold standard of Splat zones. It's going to be Mahi Resort, Sig.
Yeah, this is one of my personal favorite maps. Super fun. Was just playing it earlier today. But when we're looking at these two teams here, I see 4K, that's Devin. So we know we're going to be seeing a leader. It's going to have so much control over the map. Sigma Lord 4, I'm assuming is Aaron.
I
And
think
so that's the
Brownie
Zap option. That's a cooler option then for the team. We see a much
Yeah.
more standard one for Hypernova, but that's about where the standard comp ends. And it's already working out pretty well for them, finding a pick on that left-hand side. The brush is moving forwards all the way up. On top of that Zap, the Zap trades out, but with 3 players down, Frutella do have to relinquish control of that zone, and Devin's the last one standing.
Yeah, and right now Devin 4K with that leader is trying to establish himself, but Hypernova is holding the zone pretty well. As I say that, here comes the gal coming in and getting the splats and enabling Frutella to move forward. Slurp is going in with the bucket, getting a double. That's an all-out fight by both teams. Henlo with the hammer, able to seal the deal. That's Hypernova keeping the control of the zone.
Excellent work there. Big double from Henlo on the hammer. Just completely cleaning up that zone, forcing everybody so much further back. Looking for that fight as well, but no teammates to come with. Now 2 players cut off by that splatter color screen. Slurp is going to try and pop those tri-strikes inside of the zone. It's not going to prevent the water from dropping, but just enough to stall it for maybe a moment here before getting picked off. However, Jeff is able to finish up that cap on the 52 gal, and now they're looking forward to this fight on the right side. The whale gets popped though. 2 players end up going down. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Frutella, and with that zone, they're able to move so much further forwards here, Pat.
Yeah, Frutella establishing their control right now, and Hypernova trying to get in. That kid with the brush dancing around, but forced back into spawn. That is the lead. That for Frutella right there, and Frutella has more than the lead. They still have lots of control around mid as Hypernova is kind of struggling to establish themselves.
Yeah, they constantly get traded out, whether it's through, great positioning by Frutella or just some really well-placed bombs. But now they have a little bit of an opportunity here with that killer whale. As I say that, though, both the wiper and the brush end up dropping, and Frutella still has control of this zone. They have a real opportunity to KO here, and with Jeff finding a pick on the Henlo, there's only 10 points separating them and a Game 1 win right immediately. Dakid has to make a rush onto the zone with the spotter color screen, but against 2 other players on Frutella, that's not going to be enough paint, and they end up taking the first map.
Yeah, very nice first game right there. I mean, we saw Hypernova really take control around the start of this game, but Frutella coming back stronger, and once they had the control of all that flat surface at the center of the map, they kept it. They really punished Hypernova. Every move they would try to do it, Frutella was able to outplay them and win the fight. As I say that, Sig, it's actually, I shouldn't be here. Someone forgot to wake up and is late and is now here. Hi, Sasu.
Listen, hello, Pat. Thank you so much for covering for me. I was a little ill, a little under the weather, and luckily, we have a little switcheroo down there. You can see I am finally here, and I am here to relieve you from your duty of being on mic. So thank you so much for filling in for me, and I know the people will miss you, but they've got me for the rest of this set.
Well, the people are lucky to have you both. I'll leave you to the mic. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Pat.
Someone else who's stuck with me is Sig.
Hey, welcome to the set. We're on game 2. We got museum zones, and yeah,
Ooh.
Frutella took game 1 pretty convincingly. So
You know,
welcome.
I did see that there, and this is going to be quite the fight. We know these are both two really strong teams, and not only you're like, oh, you know, we're on museum. I think they really got the memo because, as you can see, we're looking at a leader versus a pen there. 4K really checking and already getting an early pick off the top there, and yeah, you just see a lot of scrapping here. Both of these teams absolutely really used to playing here on zones for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And that leader is just such a menace with Devin on it, one of the best in the West, at least one of the best in the world as well. And that's going to lead to Frutella having an early control of the zone, already down to 60 points. Slurp is trying to hold it a little bit more with these strikes. As two players of Hypernova end up going down, Slurp's going to rush to try and pressure this pencil. Lexi's not able to get out in time. The hammer gets popped, but doesn't find anything, and it's just one person left. Dat Kid, only player on the side of Hypernova that is still standing, just trying to get back in. And Frutella are still holding this zone. They're down to 30 points. They have a pretty solid hold here. Jeff is spending off 2, survives through 2 specials, and they're looking for another KO here, Sasu.
Yeah, they're looking to go all the way down to 0. There's only 10 ticks left. You see Synapse getting a pick before going down, but it's just not going to be enough. Though they are pressuring the zone, having it in neutral. 3 down, I think, on Frutella is finally going to allow Hypernova to get the zone and move up. You see Lexi there taking that spinner, making sure that they're taking up that space, because now it is time for Hypernova to make sure that they're putting all this pressure on Frutella that they've been sort of getting this entire game. Synapse with the sort of backup there, getting that cooler. Dat Kid really all in the spot, doing a really aggressive play, and I think that is Synapse with the splatter color screen out, but they're gonna have to paint over their strikes if they hope to keep this alive, and I think so far they do, but it seems as though Frutella finally getting their footing and getting ready to get back into mid.
They got a little bit of footing, but they ended up getting wiped immediately after. This double gal that Hypernova had switched to has been working out incredibly. You know, you have a great lethality, some really solid paint, and fantastic mobility with the shooters. We already see Dat Kid sharking on Synapse's splatter color screen and finding one, looking for that second, staying alive, dancing around beautifully, and Hypernova with that stall at the end there from Dat Kid, able to take the lead, even up that set, and get that KO.
Honestly, huge props to Hypernova there. I feel like sometimes when they essentially really quashed that dominant push from Frutella, they had a push down from 100, and I think they just stopped it basically at 1. And then, you know, when you're in that position, you're like, we have to knock out. We have no choice. We have to very dominantly win this game. And they essentially kind of gave Frutella a taste of their own medicine and said, listen, we're here too. We're giving it right back to you. And they got the knockout nonetheless. Huge.
Yeah, that was excellent work. You know, when Devin first got set up on that hole, got the initial pick, I thought that game was over. I mean, they got down to 1. You know, it's so difficult to claw back after that. But Hypernova did a fantastic job, able to bait and punish accordingly really well. Dat Kid somehow ended up in the spawn of Frutella. Don't know how that happened, but
Dat Kid's on Gal, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, it's the power of the Gal. I feel like
honestly,
when I see a Gal coming towards me, I back up. And I'm like, all right, you got this.
Yeah. But now we've switched over to, for game 3, a bit of a different paced map. We've got a double zone set up here, much more condensed as well on Undertow's Spillway. I'm very curious to see how that will change things, because Devin can't really get set up as easily for some possible early picks a lot of the time. And maybe the Snipe Rider will have a lot more opportunity to thrive here with Lexi.
Yeah, I gotta imagine Henlo's gonna be on that wiper, and Henlo is an absolute demon on that Ultra Stamp, especially when you have a backline like Devin, like you said. I think here you can just pop um, that Ultra Stamp, but I think he's decided to go Deco here. Honestly, this place is very large, maybe for those what's it called, those jump-ins on those beacons, but so far not going to do a lot for them. We have a wipe off the top right now. You see everyone just kind of getting at their bearings, trying to make sure that they keep this mid here. Slurp, you see, putting down that ink to try and get those strikes off early, but that splatter color screen is out and trying to push, but it's going to be to no avail. So far, Frutella still has the zone.
Yeah, but that 52 gal did end up finding 2 players on the hold while the rest of the team was able to recap that zone, leading to a fantastic stall. Now, Synapse and Dakid are on this left-hand side, kind of the tip of the spear here for Hypernova trying to get a retake in. We have both specials up for them. The splatter color screen gets immediately popped, and Dakid goes over the glass, just trying to rush down Devin. Doesn't even find that pick, though, and somehow Devin stays alive, finds another one through the screen, and with 3 players down, Frutella have another opportunity for a second KO, third one of the series. Slurp in a fantastic spot to close things out, and this game is basically over as soon as it was started, it feels like, as Slurp finds one, cleans up the second with a teammate, and that's as good as that.
Ooh. Yeah, a very dominant win there for Frutella, I think, kind of playing back the playbook, so to speak, from that last game, except able to seal the deal this time. Just with we were talking about how it might be difficult having a leader, but you see, in fact, the leader getting the fist bump at the end there, literally not deterred. We saw Devin really see the screen and say, that DW meme, the I can't read, this sign won't stop me, I can't read.
Yes.
Yeah, you see Devin just being like, listen,
oh my goodness,
people don't know there's holes through the screen. I'm setting up, I'm looking straight at the screen, and I am pointing and shooting.
Fantastic work. I think there were some pretty cool picks there. The Wiper Deco from Henlo, something we didn't really see work out, but I kind of like the thought process there. A much narrower map, missiles are very strong at forcing people out. Makes the retake a lot easier. I kind of like the idea. But we're switching over to Hagglefish, another kind of condensed mid, but we're probably going to see a V-Wiper here, yeah, because Hammer is just so unbelievably strong. You can find some funny angles just over the top of mid to find some good picks with it. Incredibly good stuff, but Hypernova need Henlo to really get active here, especially off this opening if they want to go to a Game 5.
Yeah, I like to call Hagglefish zones the great equalizer, because I think every team very used to playing this, even more so than a lot of the other things we've been seeing. But so far, already we have a strong opening from Frutella, trying to really get those picks. But you have Dakid really on the move, but getting sniped and just going down. And finally, Hypernova able to take that zone, put a little bit more pressure, so we're not going to be seeing that dominant game we saw before, but both of these teams definitely putting a lot of work into painting this zone in mid.
Yep, and it's really going to benefit here Frutella for the time being. Just still able to hold control. Got it flipped for a quick second there, but still able to hold. But this spotter color screen coming up is going to change things a lot. Just completely cuts the map off. We see Slurp is just alone in mid against 3, and now they're able to isolate every single player of Frutella. Hypernova have full control, and Dakid's rushing in with utility from the rest of the team, able to possibly get a lot of use out of this Ultra Stamp as they switch to the Ink Brush Nouveau. Whale's already popped. That's a really solid burn of utility, and finding a pick out on it as well on the zap. That's absolutely massive for this hold. Hypernova had taken the lead, and they don't seem to be stopping anytime soon. The zone does end up getting neutralized, but they get back in control of it right quick.
Yeah, Synapse doing a great job of keeping that space there, despite several of their teammates going down. Lexi as well, really standing her ground as she gets that paint down, though possibly going to go down now. That's 3 down for Hypernova. So now Frutella doing what they do and trying to see if they can get up into the spawn and take down as many members as possible. But you have Dat Kid still on their feet, making sure to get that Ultra Stamp. But this is me recognizing now that I think they are going double Ultra Stamp. So Hypernova,
They are.
Hyper indeed, putting it all on that Ultra Stamp here. But we have a change of hands in terms of the lead, so they're going to have to go and go fast.
Oh.
And that's that Ultra Stamp we were talking about right there, Sig.
Yeah, exactly. Finding a massive pick there with the hammer throw. That's going to even things up. Dakid's in control of that zone inside of it, just trying to get everything painted, but against a Gal and a Snipe Rider, that is incredibly difficult. Now, the rest of the team is there to support, but Dakid ends up getting picked off. Henlo's the only one able to fight in the zone, but against a Killer Whale and 3 players of Hypernova, that just looks like it, or of Frutella, it just looks like it's not going to happen here. And Frutella maintain control of that zone, and they complete the 3-1 in order to go to winners finals. That was a quick set for 4 games.
Yeah, you know, and very surprising too. See, like both of these teams are very strong, you know. Hypernova members, absolutely no slouches. So with them being sent down to losers, maybe they might just come back and do something a little bit slower there, you know. Sometimes it takes some time to work things out, especially when you're running a double Ultra Stamp. So perhaps that has something to do with it. But, you know, really fantastic seeing both of these really strong teams go head to head.
Yeah, we'll be able to see a little bit more of both of them after, you know, a couple more sets. But before that, we do have a quick break. I believe we're going to lower bracket semifinals, if I were to guess, which will be in just a few minutes. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to Triton-Cup 104. I'm Sasu here with Sig, and we're looking at Vanguard versus Tamaris.
That we are. Vanguard down here as the 1 seed. Ended up getting dropped by Fertella in winners semis. Probably the upset of the day so far. And Tamaris ended up falling to, I believe, the team waiting in losers finals, Hypernova. So they are itching for a run back. But they've got to get through Vanguard first. You know them. You love them. It's Phoenix, Urza, Mickey, and J-Sirach. Tamaris, a few names that have been coming back recently, as well as some pretty frequent paddling pool attendees with Alvo, Kit Kat, Fantar, and Azad. And we're kicking things off on Crab Lake Capital.
Oh gosh,
That's
we were
enough.
talking between the scenes. We were like, I think as edit players, when we see this, we kind of, we clench, we fear a little bit, but as long as you've got the pencil or any sort of charger, I would argue, even if, I mean, you might be a little bit checked here, but I'd say, let's say this is like a open or something like that, you might see some sort of long-range splatling or a Hydra, but ultimately what I always say about Crab Leg is that range is king, and we'll see if both of these teams have a king appropriate for this map mode.
JSOR on the leader. Haven't been seeing them on that as much, more so on the pencil, but incredibly strong weapon. You know, we all know it. It's been in the game for a decade now. And, you know, it's just incredibly good. The pencil on the other side, able to keep up that paint. It's definitely a lot more roll compression on the side of Tamaris, and they're already taking full advantage with somehow a wipeout in the first 20 seconds. Great work. Now they have zone, and they're just trying to hold it for as long as possible, I guess.
Yeah, right now it's time for them to move up into this court area and see if they can just put on an immense amount of pressure, make it so that no one feels comfortable dropping. And of course, I think Tamaris has a really great amount of AoE, which is fantastic for a place like here where you're going to have to drop. You're going to have to figure out how to get off of your plat there. Of course, there's a Booyah Bomb coming out of the S-Blast from the side of Tamaris, taking that space, and it seems as though Vanguard is really just trying to get their footing. They're gonna have to do so quick because already Tamaris is down to 20.
Yeah, and Mickey being the kind of front end of this Vanguard offense, not even able to get to zone, finally finds a pick onto Orboy 36, but the zone is down to less than 3 left, and Mickey gets picked off. That's 2 players down to Fantar, and Tamaris take that first game incredibly quickly. I mean, that was just lights out from them so far. My number one question is, how is this going to keep up? Are Vanguard maybe switching, or like, what went wrong there at the start?
Well, we did see, not on stream, but behind the scenes, I believe this is what happened also in Vanguard's last game. They gave up that first game, not gave up. They did lose their first game, and then kind of came back with that reverse sweep. So it may be that they're just trying to get their bearings or something to that effect, and they're gonna have to get their bearings on quite a difficult map mode here. We're going into barnacle zones, and Sig, anyone who's had the misfortune of speaking to me about this map mode, I have nothing but bad things to say. This is a very difficult
You don't like
mode.
this map?
Oh, absolutely not. It's
Why?
so lockout heavy. It's so
much
easy to just me when I'm a pen player.
Me when I pick Crab Tank and just sit somewhere and get like 3 kills for fun.
Neither of these teams can afford to make any major mistakes. If you wipe, you're now going to have to take something like 3 fights to get back into mid alone. But we see this switch, I think, to the Rapid. I don't think we saw that last game, if I'm not mistaken. So both of these teams definitely, especially with a universal special like Whale, ready for the retake and ready to see if they can lock out the other team. And already that is an early double on Tamaris.
Yeah, major switch up from Vanguard here, locking that double backline comp with Mickey on the Rapid Blaster Pro Deco. Already working out great for them, like you said earlier. The 2 picks, they have full control of zone. A Crab Tank from Urza there on that top left, or from Phoenix there on that top left is going to be fantastic for just getting a hold off. The Crab Tank on the side of Tamaris gets picked off as well, and Urza has another one ready. Double Crab actually from the side of Vanguard. Very, very strong. Like you said, a lockout heavy map, those high HP specials that are really good at holding space are fantastic here. That's why we see double Crab. Fantar with these tri-strikes, just trying to pop them to get the rest of the team in, rushing in with them, but they have to clear Mickey first. Already rushing them down. There we go. There's Mickey cleared out, but now you need to run back, grab Cooler, and they still haven't gotten zone. Vanguard is down to 25 seconds left. They've been cycling these crabs beautifully, and Tamaris is just getting back to zone. We have a minute through, and already 3/4 of the score of Vanguard's gone. That's as good a start as you could hope for.
Yeah, finally Tamaris, though, taking that very critical plat section from Vanguard, trying to see if they can keep them in check after having to really scramble to get back in here and stop a sweep. You see Oroboy going down there, but not without trading. So right now, I think everybody just coming back together. There is a trade, and quite frankly, if they're able to keep this pressure, you know, with them having no penalty points, they were able to get quite a few points on the board there. Oroboy with a really strong tactical jump out, but with 2 of their members going down and them not having the zone any further, right now they're going to have to scrap, get their plat back if they can, and make sure that they can just get back into mid, because these points go down quickly, Sig.
Oh, absolutely. We're already almost completely through the penalty on the side of Vanguard here, and they have a Crab Tank still to hold, but the Booyah Bomb and the Tri-Strikes come through. There's the zone neutralized, but this Crab Tank from Phoenix is cutting off everybody from Tamaris. Nobody can really get onto that zone, and Vanguard's going to take that to the bank. Alvo kind of rushes down Phoenix, and Mickey's there to kind of support. Urza is in the backline, diving 2, already found the pick on the 1, looking for that second, but it's just the pencil left on the side of Vanguard, and they're not able to stay alive. The zone ticks down to 5, but Alvo is able to just paint it over just in time before the KO, and Tamaris, they have another opportunity to hold here, and they have the strikes to start things off.
Yeah, having, I think, what may have been a delayed wipe, or if not close to it, should set Tamaris up for real success here on a place like this. You see those strikes are going to find someone, and that is just about 2 members down on both sides. So both of these teams certainly going to have to make sure they're not necessarily overextending, but that Tamaris is able to get that sufficient lockout. But I don't think it's going to happen. 3 of their members going down, and their last one having to give up that space is going to make it so that Vanguard once again has the zone, and worse yet, they have specials and strong ones for keeping them, for keeping Tamaris out of this mid. The Crab Tank being active, and several of their members just kind of sitting in their court, seeing what they can do to get their plat back, what they can do to get back in. Those strikes do come out, and so far they're able to stall that zone and take it back. So finally they're back in the game, and they're seeing if they can check the members of Vanguard accordingly.
Incredibly strong retake from Tamaris there. However, Urza is on that backline, just trying to use that dueling mobility to dive and duck and dip and dodge. Finds one, but Alvo's there to clean up before any more players can go down. The Crab Tank gets popped, and Oroboy is just trying to find some way to get aggressive here. The burst bombs are going to cap that zone, and the cooler's out, so Fantar and Oroboy can get a little bit more aggressive here. Fantar just trying to avoid getting chipped out too much, though, on this left-hand side. Not able to move. Tries to find that jump over to Oroboy on that left-hand side. And one player is down inside of Vanguard. Tamaris have the advantage, but they're not quite able to capitalize. Now with another pick, they're able to move forward just a little, find the zone cap a couple of seconds later, and they have 2 specials again for this hold. This could be curtains here if they use the strikes and Booyah well.
Yeah, you see those strikes being used right now, being really segmented to get the maximum amount of them, but they're not able to take out this crab, which does get a pick at the last second. But 2 members going down from Vanguard is going to make it. Make that 3 is essentially going to give this game really to Tamaris. We have a DC there as well, but it's just not going to matter. The second game going to Tamaris, and the rest of the set in a massive upset from, what is that, our first seed in Vanguard?
Yeah, that's massive. Fantastic work from Tamaris, able to claw back all the way down down 75 at the start, and then even further on afterwards. Incredible work from them. Kind of able to weather that storm. Vanguard has a lot of different comps, and this was two of them that are vastly different just because of how, how the specials kind of interact and what blaster Mickey's playing. Tamaris did a great job at, using a lot of their AoE to find picks and chip out a lot of the players. And fantastic work for them. That is going to be Vanguard's worst finish at a tourney in a while as well. That's crazy that it's 5th is their worst finish at a tourney in a minute.
Honestly, you gotta stay on your P's and Q's. This is a very competitive Triton-Cup this time around. There are a lot of very strong teams, including Tamaris. Obviously, when you look at the set, you're gonna see not just that Vanguard lost, but that they lost in a 0-2 here. Not necessarily the second game, not necessarily as dominant, but at the end of the day, my dad used to say that on any given day anyone can win. Upsets happen, and I think that just reminds you that you got to strengthen up your game and make sure that upsets aren't possible by sheer strength. But definitely gonna have to give it up to Tamaris, who played that last game very patient and really was in there for the long haul. So fantastic job for them, and it'll be paying dividends as they head into losers finals, which I think we'll be doing in a bit, but not before a short break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Triton-Cup 104. We've got your lower bracket finals. It's a run back of our winner semis earlier today. Hypernova versus Tamaris. We've got another best of 5 for you. And joining me on the mic today is Sasu. Sasu, how are we looking at this set?
I am pumped and excited. Of course, we have Hypernova sent down to losers by Frutella, but a really strong team. We've been seeing that double ultra stamp out of Dat Kid and Henlo, I believe. But Tamaris, fresh off of a 2-0 win off our first seeds Vanguard. So I'm sure they are feeling like they've got the momentum and they're ready to go into, once again, what I call the great equalizer, Hagglefish zones.
Yeah, we've got, I think that's, double hammer again from Hypernova. And then we've seen that standard comp from Tamaris in the previous set. I believe in their winter semi set, again, the double AoE with the crab and the pen. Pretty standard stuff, incredibly strong, and a lot of kill power in there. But how are they going to stack up in the mobility department against this team, especially with that wiper brush?
Yeah, I think we have seen Dat Kid really doing some great work on this brush, especially just kind of taking those flanks, popping out, and you know, who knows if Tamaris necessarily has the mobility to deal with it, but so far it's looking like it. They have the zone and they're moving up right now, checking those over extensions. As I like to say, sort of getting the rats out of your basement in Dat Kid, just kind of running around on that brush. And yeah, so far they have a very healthy hold, but not without having to deal with a lot of scrapping and flanks from Henlo and Dat Kid.
Yeah, speaking of, Dat Kid already on yet another flank. Kit Kat is going to have to get right out of there. As the hammer comes through, finds one onto Almo, almost gets the second onto Aura Boy, but is able to clean that up with a direct. Henlo's there with the trade, and now another hammer inside the zone. Not quite as fortunate as the last. And Tamaris are still able to maintain really solid control here. They have 3 players up and others jumping in. Another set of strikes just to hold the space in front of that zone, looking to pop it. Dat Kid did drop right, but is going to be picked off relatively quick as Henlo's just trying to take a 1v2, survive as long as they can, and isn't able to find much more than one here. Tamaris have just had a fantastic hold so far. The hammer toss comes through, but isn't able to find anything, and now it's just a matter of time, and there it is. Tamaris take game 1.
Yeah, with a really dominant hold there. I think it seems as though Tamaris really smart about their patience. You see, at least from what I saw, almost none of their... I think when you get a lot of those picks, you move up to the court area, you move into the spawn and see if you can just bully them up there and make it impossible for them to drop. But for the most part, they were in mid, taking the fights as they came. So definitely a lot of strong patience work from Tamaris, paying them back in dividends. But we'll see if that's also going to translate here to Undertow. Hypernova, I think we saw them have a little bit of difficulty last time on stream with this map mode.
The main difference this time, though, is I don't think they're going to be playing into an E-leader here. So I bet they're thanking their lucky stars right now. My number one question is, are we going to see Henlo on that Wiper Deco yet again? We saw the missiles. It wasn't quite working out for Hypernova. Are we going to see that picked yet again, or do you think it's just like a one-time thing, maybe just spitballing? You know, we can drop a set here. But
I was wondering about that too, because for all we know, we might have been seeing those missiles to displace the E-leader that they may have seen coming. So they're like, we can't have this person beaming us from across the map. Henlo, see if you can farm that. I think we are not seeing it this time. We're seeing the Ultra Stamp going to go after the backline the good old-fashioned way by hurling an Ultra Stamp at them wherever they are on Snipe. But both of these teams opening now to take that zone right now in a little bit of neutral. It's going to come down to who is able to get most of these picks, and so far it is Hypernova getting 2 members down. Dat Kid trying to make it 3 and successfully doing so, and it seems as though I'm really excited to see the screenplay and how this is going to possibly help Hypernova, since they are off to an open, a really strong opening here.
Yeah, Screen seems incredibly good at just kind of separating multiple players, but they don't even need it at this point as Fantar ends up dropping, and it looks like Dat Kid just is living in the spawn of
Rush behavior.
Tamaris. Oh yeah, but ends up getting picked off by Aura Boy. Now, this is where Screen could come in, just maybe cutting off a couple players, you know, just shut down that pencil sight line, but it's not going to be needed here. The zone is still in favor of Hypernova. The strikes come through, but not quite enough. There's that splatter color screen there. Synapse is playing right up close to it, not able to be seen by the rest of the team, has to play off comms in general, and that's going to give Hypernova such an extended hold here. Alva with that crab tank is going to try and get control of one zone back, but with the rest of the players dying on the left-hand zone, they can barely get a cap going, and it's going to put a lot more penalty back on Hypernova, and they've extended their lifeline in this game.
Barely is right. You see they have not even necessarily ticked down to 1, still at 100 with a nasty penalty on Hypernova, down to 72, but really that is all Tamaris needs. We have been seeing other games where they're able to really work off that. You see a wipeout for Tamaris. Finally, they're able to get all the members of Hypernova down, which is just the space they need to maybe stabilize, get started on that zone. And of course, they have no penalty points really, so they're able to get a lot of those points down to begin with. That kid popping those whales to really center them on one person. And right now, they're just playing a lot of cleanup. But it seems as though we're on more even footing than maybe we saw at the first half of this game.
Oh, absolutely. And Fantar has found himself in a very strong spot here, looking to push up, maybe pressure that 10, but gets caught by the most unfortunate of respawn timings. And now it's just Kit Kat left. Dat Kid's able to rush down with that brush and just retakes the full left side for Hypernova here. They have another opportunity to maybe get a KO, extend their lead at the bare minimum. Dat Kid tries to rush into the spawn, maybe just find a couple of picks onto those specials of Hypernova, but not quite able to. The strikes and the crab tank are coming through. That's a cap again in favor of Tamaris, but not for very long as one zone gets fully flipped. Fantar's trying to rush down, I believe, Lexi here, and Lexi ends up going down here. It's a 2-on-1, or 1-on-1 now, between Dat Kid and Fantar. And Dat Kid's just rushing out for respawns, just trying to play it slow. Fantar with a little bit of a bag in mid, and Synapse is there to clean up. This zone has not been capped for at least 30 seconds now.
Yeah, both of these teams are just scrapping, honestly. You would think this is just like a Call of Duty, a shooter game, with how these teams are just beaming each other, kind of ignoring the zone a little bit there at that time. But you see kind of a stabilization happening here for Tamaris. They've got their crab ready, but they're trying to get those picks the good old-fashioned way. 2 of their members going down, as Henlo, I think, is able to... actually, I'm not sure who that was, because there are two hammers, but right now, Hypernova definitely putting down the hurt, just throwing a lot of pressure at Tamaris and making it very difficult for them to even move in on zone. You see Dat Kid going in for the backline and getting that very critical trade there. Fantastic job, and Lexi doing the cleanup with the paint from this backline. And right now, we have just under a minute left, but really, we're looking at about 20 ticks, and Tamaris has to get in there and get there fast if they hope to stop this game from ending.
Yeah, they don't have much time, and it looks like Henlo's just going to make that job all the more difficult. The zone gets capped, the Booyah Bomb comes through, and there's another 50-point penalty on Hypernova. Tamaris still have another chance here. With Dat Kid going down before the whale gets popped, that's so much chip damage that you're missing out on if you're Hypernova. And now the rest of the team, the AoE, is just trying to find all these fights, able to find one, but Synapse is there for the trade out. And this Gout has been just so free to kind of move around the map and find kills as needed, with the rest of the team, just everybody else pressuring on all sides of the map. Dat Kid rushing in, looking for more, found the pick already, and just needs to stall for OT, and there it is. Hypernova evening up the set.
Yeah, and you know, oh, we're so back.
Oh, we're back.
Hi, kitten. He's not a kitten, he's a big cat.
We
No,
might be back. Oh my goodness.
we might be so back.
Okay. Well, chat, welcome back. Hypernova, in case you just missed it, have evened up the set count. We are going over to Mako Mart for our third game here. And the winner of this goes to Series Point. Is all that much closer to booking a ticket into into grand finals. My apologies. And I'm curious to see what kind of comps we see. We've seen a couple of switch ups here. Also, Cater, could you please stream to Discord? It's okay. I'm very curious. I've got the Twitch stream up on the background, so I'm able to tune in there.
I see. Very resourceful, but we are straight in it. I think that is Tamaris already getting those early picks. And I think we might have been fresh off of what looked like to be a wipe or a near wipe there. So far, a really strong start here, especially courtesy of Fantar doing some really good work on the Slosher.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just incredibly strong on that left-hand side, able to play around ledges, play around that verticality really well. And now with the Tri-Strikes finding a pick on the Dat Kid, finally traded out by Synapse, but the Crab Tank is up to just force them all the way out. The zone is neutralized by Hypernova, but they're already down to 36 points, and they're still going along. Enlo is just trying to contest that zone, but gets picked off yet again. The pick into the zone might be a little bit difficult, and with Dat Kid rushing over to that right-hand side, we could see a possibility of a flip, but they need to move fast, Hypernova do, if they want to have a chance at taking this game back. Already down to 9 points. Dat Kid ends up getting dropped by a burst bomb, and Henlo is just trying to rush the zone. Still in favor of Tamaris, and with Henlo getting traded, and Oraboy fighting another one on Alexi. Oh, you're so close to getting that KO, but just at the last moment, Hypernova have that zone captain in that green.
That was crazy. Absolutely. I bet in those comps we are hearing I saved the game. Because, wow, all the way down to 1, but stopping it there, though 2 of the members do go down for Hypernova, making it so that they're not able to keep this. But with a nasty penalty, I believe a 75, Tamaris now probably hoping for a quick knockout, are going to have to work overtime to make sure they get through that and through to the knockout. But of course, Hypernova locking in, gonna see what they can do to get back into this mid.
Absolutely, but with 3 players going down, you don't really have an opportunity to do much of anything here. Oraboy also farming that ledge just for a little bit more damage, tries to rush down this pencil, make sure that wipe is good and clean, but everybody is back up, able to defend, and with Henlo dropping on this left-hand side, Oraboy's going to need to find that one with Fantar. 2 players on this right-hand side. How will Hypernova tackle it? It looks like they just die to Fantar. Fantar finds 2 on the same spot. Incredible play there, great positional awareness as well, going for that pencil, and Tamaris with a clean KO in game 3.
Yeah, you know, they had to kind of punch in and work a little harder to make sure that they sealed the deal there due to that game-stopping cap in the middle, but not without just ultimately taking it, bringing them to a 2-1 and at set point. Poised to go into grand finals, but not if Hypernova can say anything about it, especially. I would argue this may be a place that's more well-suited for that double ultra stamp. And also, I think we were just in a place that is really strong for AoE. So I wonder if Tamaris is going to be able to have as dominant as a game here, or if Hypernova gonna sort of match their energy with that advantage that they're gonna be seeing here.
Yeah, Stamp is much stronger on the tighter choke points of Robo Ramen, but also there's so much like vertical play, especially around the zone, and a lot of paintable walls that Fantar and that Slosher especially can take advantage of. It really could go anybody's way here. It definitely makes things a little bit more even if they want to run, you know, the wiper or double stamp or whatever they want to run on the side of Hypernova. We've seen a lot of different stuff. Double gal at this point as well.
Listen,
honestly,
you
I'm
have
curious
many
what
gals.
Yeah.
But also, strikes can be an absolute demon on Robo Ramen zones. I think that zones Robo Ramen zones in particular is extremely cheesable. You never want to see a reef slider here. You never want to see those strikes because really it takes very little follow-up to be able to cap that zone. So Hypernova is going to have to make sure that they hyper focus on keeping the strikes user down in order to seal the deal on this game.
Now, finding a pick on the Fentar is much easier said than done. You have a lot of chip damage and paints to get around, and then you have to fight a Slosher right after that. So it will be a very difficult task, as we've seen it proven to be so far, and Tamaris are going to pick up right where they left off, finding 2 picks for the price of 1, getting that zone cap as well, and Fentar's fighting 2 people on the left, just stalling for as long as possible. That rest of the team is able to kind of get set up here and then not quite push forwards, but still have a very, very strong presence here. The Crab Tank finds Dat Kid just trying to shark, and now Henlo is kind of left on their own on this bottom left, and Fentar's looking to swing it and fight again as the rest of the team are just setting up a lot more utility just around the zone.
This is giving me flashbacks to when we first got Robo Ramen, as well as that splatter color screen. You see that being deployed there and taking that space, helping Hypernova to take that zone. But remember, we were talking about Tamaris and their fantastic patience. That is paying in dividends, I would argue, up against these more scrappier weapons in Henlo and Dat Kid. They're definitely kind of staying back, seeing if they can punish these overextensions from both of these very cheeky players. But right now, Hypernova going to get that cooler out and get really poised to take this elbow area, especially with this Ultra Stamp, and see what they can do to put on that pressure. Henlo, of course, being checked, 2 of their members going down, meaning that Tamaris definitely ready to take this zone back.
Yep, Tamaris don't quite yet have control of the zone, but Allo with that Crab Tank and the Tri-Strikes coming through from Fentar are going to make it all the easier unless they don't find Dat Kid. Dat Kid able to find one, but the zone does end up going in favor of Tamaris here. But with no specials, they don't really have an opportunity to push. You have to find some fights with the Blaster, with the Slosher, and that's exactly what they're looking to do, but it's not quite working. You know, they're kind of stuck on this choke point. And the splatter color screen is going to allow Hypernova to move in just a little bit more. But Fantar's on the flank. Hold on a minute. The pencil is able to find that pick. The zone is capped yet again in favor of Hypernova, and this has been quite the back and forth here as the hammer comes through and finds 2, and that's going to break things wide open for Hypernova.
Yeah, they're able to take that elbow, which is critical in a place like this, meaning it's way harder for Tamaris to move forward, and especially when you have you do not want a brush, you do not want a wiper. Almost getting that triple there from Dat Kid, but going down. But the thing that they do get is the lead. So despite the fact that they've lost most of their members, they're looking to defend their lead here, but there goes the penalty points. So Tamaris already making their way down. They're gonna have to rush this really quickly if they're hoping to hang on to this lead.
Yeah, and it looks like they don't really have much of an opportunity to until that screen goes up. They're able to kind of use that to their advantage and rush past the Crab Tank and get control of the zone. The cooler is up though on the side of Tamaris, so they're able to maybe take a couple of fights that they otherwise wouldn't be able to. There's already one for 1 on the side of Tamaris, and now they have another opportunity to cap this zone. The strikes coming through from Fantar, already rushing forwards with them. The Crab Tank as well, another one from Alvo, but Dat Kid is on that left-hand side, or that's Henlo on the wiper. And Hypernova have just not relented in their kind of rushes onto the zone. They finally have given Tamaris an opportunity to breathe here, just with everybody kind of going down at once, and that's going to give them the chance to take this lead so far.
Yes, we'll see if they're able to keep it. We have Lexi putting down that paint and that cooler, getting it chipped a little bit, but not quite. But those numbers keep ticking down. That paint is going to have to get down and quickly, but that is going to be almost everyone but Synapse, who just doesn't have the paint to paint over this, and that is going to be the set. 3-1 in the favor of Tamaris, sending them to that grand finals position in a really strong set.
Yeah, great showing from them. They got their run back. They did what they wanted to do after getting knocked out of winners. And take out Hypernova here. Now, in just a couple of short minutes, they have to fight Frutella, who have put together a run of their own so far, and that will be after this quick break. What a fantastic set from Tamaris. What a great run from them. We'll see them in just a second.
Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to Triton-Cup 104 Grand Finals. I'm Sasu. I'm here with Big, and we're looking at Frutella versus Tamaris.
Yeah, we've got some crazy runs from both of these teams. Tamaris just run the table in the lower bracket after losing in semis, and Frutella having a fantastic run of their own, taking out Vanguard in a best of 5, knocking out Hypernova immediately afterwards. They've got themselves a one-set advantage here, and we're kicking things off right where we left off at Robo Ramen Splat Zones.
Yeah, Tamaris has quite a lot of momentum going for them, but sometimes momentum is not enough to just to trounce a giant. Of course, I think Frutella has both of those upsets we were mentioning. Frutella, I think, also sent both of those teams to losers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So they've got quite the giant in front of them, but a run back for Tamaris here. We're going to be looking at Robo Ramen Zones, which I believe they just finished winning on. So talk about momentum. They have a lot of things going for them in terms of comfortability. There we go. I suppose.
Absolutely, but they are going to be playing against one more gal than the last set. I believe Frutella ran double gal, No, I'm misremembering because there was a shot at some point. So no, it's just single gal, and Devin's on leader, so they have a zap. Still a slightly different comp compared to the pencils that Tamaris has had to play in the past. Definitely going to have to play a little bit slower. But, I mean, I think they'll be able to do it. It's already off to a pretty solid start from them right now.
Yeah, and they might be fine with that slow play. Like we said, Tamaris has been doing really well into over-aggressive teams. They know to kind of like sit there, wait, take their time. You see Aura Boy kind of just getting doubled up on there, and very quickly Frutella taking this elbow here, which you cannot afford to lose. So their stuff is just ticking down, and Slurp just getting those picks, jumping out, rinse, wash, and repeat as we have this zone being kept, waiting for the members of Tamaris to move their way in. And those strikes come out, and like we said before, very easy to cheese this zone here on Robo Ramen. That is going to be the zone for Tamaris.
Yeah, but not for very long, as it immediately gets flipped again by Frutella. And Alvo is just kind of rushing around, trying to play with Orboy. Gets that zone cap for the team. Again, gonna just close in on that lead ever so slightly. Kit Kat jumps in on the pen, but I think is the last one left standing, or at least gets picked off. Ventar's the last one left. The bucket duel ends up in a trade. And now Frutella, they're back in control of the zone. A lot of chip damage onto that splash, so I think the Crab Tank might have to wait a second. But there it is. The rest of the team is in a pretty solid spot to capitalize. But first, they're going to find that pick on the 52 gal. The strikes and the Booyah Bomb are coming through, and there's the full retake for Tamaris. And now they're on the offensive here with Aldo finding a pick onto Olympia.
Yeah, a really great display of just technicals there. You see the jump-ins from Tamaris. They still have the zone, and they've started making their way on their points, but immediately they get checked by Frutella. They say, absolutely not. We are not going to let you come within throwing distance of our lead. We're quashing that right now, but not without getting checked. Once again, you can't just easily walk in on Tamaris. They are going to make sure that they take their time on you, and we already have this Crab out trying to find picks and do a little bit of painting while they kind of put some pressure on, but I think those strikes went out apparently when I wasn't looking. But Vantar with this double, looking for that triple, does get the assist there, moving up to the elbow, already putting just a lot of pressure before they go down. Really great run by Tamaris, but not before being shut down here. 3 other members going down.
That was a nasty double from Vanguard, but also a fantastic shot from Devin to answer right back. And Frutella still have control of that zone. Only 20 penalty points left, and they aren't letting go anytime soon. That Crab Tank is going to need to be popped as soon as you get it, just to provide some stability for the rest of that team. The Booyah Bomb is at the ready for Tamaris to move in, and they're going to need to fast, but The bucket from Slurp is already putting in a lot of work, finding the pick onto Fantar. The strikes are coming through to break Albo's Crab Tank and find that pick as well. And Frutella, they have an opportunity, and with Kit Kat down, that's everybody out on the side of Tamaris. Nobody can cap this zone in time, and Frutella take game one in a very, very solid fashion.
Yeah, we were talking about momentum, but once again, momentum can get you into trouble when you're going up against a wall. So, really strong game, like you said, from Frutella, and I feel like this was the story of the Sloshers. Of course, we have two really strong Western Sloshers here in Fantar and Slurp, and you just saw them going absolutely berserk with these killing sprees in this game. And speaking of Sloshers in AoE, we're gonna be headed to a map mode that really, at least in my opinion, favors a lot of AoE because of the many drops you have to get back into mid in Mahi Mahi.
Yeah, however, there is also the caveat that it's a very tiny map, and so those backlines will have a ton of reach, can influence the map from the other side of it, really. You can reach into the opposite side of zone from like the islands on the right or left hand side with either leader or pencil. So we are going to have to see how those two also affect the game, especially Devin on that leader. We touched on it earlier, but that thing is so lethal, such a menace, especially in the hands of a proficient player like Devin, where you have to change your game plan almost entirely to work around it.
Oh, absolutely. I feel this is the case when you have a charger there to begin with, right? Everyone plays the game very differently when there's a charger, and even more differently when it is a charger that can delete you in one shot from across the map. But it's kind of, a bit of a rock, paper, scissors of who will get the leg up here, because of course we have that leader, but that leader has to stand on a ledge. And they are going up against a healthy amount of AoE that may just be able to get rid of them so they can't get their bearings. So we'll see how this ends up shaking out. Both of these teams making their way into mid, seeing who can get an early splat, and that is going to go to Tamaris. 3 of their members down. Frutella moving up, seeing if they can continue to just put up this pressure. And honestly, this is the type of pressure that we usually see Tamaris able to check, making sure that they're not getting stuck up in their spawn. But so far, Frutella just making lots of gains in terms of their picks off the beginning of the game here.
Yeah, Aaron with the opening gambit on that 52 gal is definitely pushing the pace here. Maybe just a little bit faster than what Tamaris can really kind of combat, really. We haven't seen them play against an opening gambit 52 gal especially, and the Crab Tank is going to be popped on that right hand side. But 2 players, both the AoEs actually end up going down for the price of 3 on the side of Frutella. So Kick has the last one with Alvo, just trying to contest that zone, get it capped, but Devin's able to find a clean exit frag for Frutella here, as Aaron ends up getting picked off again. Fantar finds Slurp on that left-hand side, and suddenly Tamaris has a pretty good shot at closing in.
Yeah, I think some really strong tactical jumps here as well from both of these teams, but especially Tamaris. I think that this is kind of what they're doing to combat the fact that they're going up against a leader. They're just like, listen, rather than being in their sight line, I'd rather just leave and leave quickly. But you see Fantar kind of locking down this right side with these strikes here, not able to find anything, but definitely trying instead to take space, but right under their nose. Tamaris has the zone flipped on them. We have a trade there. 2 members down on Frutella. So finally, Tamaris able to take that back, but not without incurring a very healthy 48 penalty. Here's what we were talking about off the start. Boy on that S-Blast, getting picks, really policing this drop, but finally going down. So Tamaris looking to stabilize and see if they can finally take this lead.
Oh, and they're really close to it as well. Fantar just putting in so much work yet again on this Slosher. Puts out a lot of damage, finds the pick, forces a jump out with Alvo right after, and there's the penalty almost completely gone. Tamaris, they're only about 10 points away from this lead, and the Crab Tank is coming through. Gets picked off immediately, traded out by Devin. Frutella with the strikes coming in. They may be 2 players down, but they're able to get that zone flip right in time, and the S-Blast ends up dropping here, jumps in. Slurp is already in front of zone, able to directly intercept anybody making a rush to get that flipped back in their favor. And Frutella, all of a sudden, have all the control in the world here. Aaron on this right-hand side has found 2 picks and is looking for a third, as Fantar is just able to fend them off, but only just. And Frutella, they're almost all the way through their penalty here, Sasu.
Listen, Gal goes crazy. When you see those people on Twitter saying, get Gal out of the game, this is exactly who they mean. What a dominant performance there. And they are already ticking down to 8, but with 2 of their members going down. We're going to see if Tamaris is able to take that zone, and they do it, stopping that really dominant push. We see this really weird 1v1 here, but finally getting out on the top of there before getting rightfully checked here by this leader, trying to get that. You see, I think the name of the game is to just jump out, don't deal with the leader. You know you can get beamed, so they get out of there. But once again, on the prowl here, going for some picks. This Gal doing a really good job and getting the picks that they were looking for. Ultimately going down, but I think Tamaris has a long way to go, quite frankly, before they're going to be able to take this lead and, quite frankly, knockout.
Yeah, Crowny does end up going down here, as well as I believe Slurp on that Slosher, and now Tamaris do have control. They don't have that many penalty points left, and they have a Booyah Bomb at their disposal with a Tax Cooler and a Crab Tank up on deck pretty soon here. There's the Booyah Bomb getting popped immediately. The strikes are coming through for Frutella. They're looking to see if they can cap. They have a couple of picks to go along with it, and Aaron's on this right-hand side, not really able to be contested inside of that splash wall, and runs in, finds one, gets the second one traded out with Slurp, and Slurp is looking for that final pick just to kind of seal the deal in the last 25 seconds, but the rest of the team, Fantar, is able to help out here. And Oraboy and Fantar are just doing it all now. The zone gets flipped by the other 2 players as the AoE weapons are hunting for more. They're so close to this lead, they can taste it, and they're going to need to go to overtime to find it out. Another set of strikes, a Booyah Bomb and a Cooler are close on deck, and Tamaris, they have a shot. The question is, can they close? They need to find a couple of picks, but with Devin finding that pick deep in the zone of that leader, that's not a great start. Strikes come through and fully caps for Frutella, and they put themselves up 2-0.
Yeah, that's tough. That's what you're going up against when you have an S-Blast that can't necessarily paint all that well on your team. You can't paint over those strikes like you're gonna need to, and those are essentially going to end up being GG strikes for Frutella at the end there. But yeah, that was quite a scrappy game, even though it felt close at the end there, Sig.
Oh, absolutely. It came down to OT. I think there was no penalty left on the side of Tamaris, but Frutella were able to find those picks. You know, Devin was able to get a great cross-map snipe onto, I believe, Fantar to get things going, and the strikes immediately, just right as that pick happens, comes through. And if you're down one of your, a weapon that can burst paint a lot into those strikes pretty comfortably, like a Slosher, it becomes so much harder to contest, and then, you have multiple teammates rushing, and Frutella was just really, really patient in that overtime. Great job, and now they have a pretty comfortable map to close it out on.
Yeah, we're gonna be moving into Museum, and one thing about a leader is that, much like we were talking about before with Mahi, you can simply delete somebody on their own plat. Very disrespectful play that you can pull off with a leader here. And so I think that Tamaris did a really good job of managing the threat of the leader with their jump outs, with their positioning. But when you essentially can't even drop safely into mid because the leader, God forbid, they get that spinner, and they're just they just have their sights trained on you. I think they have an uphill battle in terms of going up against a weapon with so much range.
Yeah, especially with that scope, you have that extra little bit of range that kind of gives you about a foot or two into that enemy plat. So even if you're like backed up just a touch, you're still not safe. Devin is going to be setting the pace for this entire game, and it's up to Tamaris to really find a way to deal. Again, a couple of really solid ledges for Fantar and for Auraboy to kind of play around here, but it's not going to be easy, especially getting to those ledges in the first place.
We are looking at set and I think tournament point here for Frutella, if they're able to get this game. But you see both of these teams already making their way into mid. An early pick there on two members of Frutella while they get the zone. So all of the members you see really bunching up on this spinner, getting ready to just bully Frutella as much as they can. They know that they're going up against some really fierce players and really strong, difficult matchups. So some of the members going down in getting those picks, but lots of trades, lots of scrapping back and forth. So right now, Tamara still has the zone. You see they're trying to neutralize it and stop their push, but despite all those members going down, Tamaris not losing the zone and still able to widen their lead.
Yes, really have not. Wow, okay, everybody's dead except for the Chargers. Really have not, Frutella really have not been able to get back into the zone. They've been locked out. Fantar and Auraboy have been doing a great job at playing around these ledges. The Crab Tank has just pushed everyone further back as well in case one of those players is down. And still, Tamaris have control of that zone. They are a player down, though.
Oh my gosh.
It's traded out immediately. Crowny with a really big pick. The pencil is dropped. It's just Alvo left, and there's an opportunity here for Frutella. They're not going to get KO'd just yet. Alvo gets picked off on the jump, but with a tacticooler, he'll be back up and running really quickly. Devin, though, is going to find a much more impactful pick onto that slosher of Fantar. There's no strikes for a little bit for this retake. And with players already on plat, this is... Oh, never mind. They all died. Very, very solid stall so far for Frutella.
I think that's the issue there. Players on plat, they had a leader looking at them from the spinner, meaning that's just going to be an ultra, very quick death for them there. We have this 1v1 KitKat very wisely jumping out, being on pencil. Slurp doing a bit of cleanup, finally has their strikes ready to go, but getting bursted out, I think, by all of those bombs that were going out. But while they're trying to strike there, members going for that mid, and I think Frutella about to take this lead here, and they do somehow, and take the rest of the tourney in a crazy push. Sig, that is a 3-0 set, and wow, I didn't see that coming after the dominant game that Tamaris had the entire time.
Yeah, that first push, again, like, anything can happen in zones, but after that first push, you're down to 5. You have such a massive lead that it's really hard to come back, but a couple of opportune picks from Frutella, especially from Devin, to open up those holds, kind of set things up, and Frutella are your Triton-Cup 104 champions. Run, tourney!
Yes, your Triton-Cup 104 champions go to Frutella. Had to definitely fight through quite a few strong teams. Both of these teams, I think, had to sift through some upsets in order to get here. But yeah, that is going to be a first and a second place finish. And congratulations, especially to Frutella, for such a dominant run through this tourney. Against such strong names, a 3-0, and I feel like they've had really strong sets where they just close them out like this.
Yeah, I mean, the only set I can think of, like, them really struggling into on stream was that Comden set way back in Winners. You know, it went game 5, incredibly tight, but they have had a fantastic run, really solid stuff. And yeah, I mean, they showed it here with a win at the very end. Great stuff to them. With that being said, it has been a pleasure casting with y'all. It has been great work. Sasu, we're gonna have to wrap up soon. Where can the lovely people in chat find you?
The people can find me basically on any social media. I don't use Twitter anymore. I'm primarily on Blue Sky, but if you want to add me on Discord, Instagram, what have you, it's Sasu in your pants. That's SASUIN, the letters UR. pants. And once again, sorry for being a little bit late there, a little bit under the weather. But Sig, where can the people find you?
You can find me just about anywhere where the Splatoon community hangs out, whether that's Blue Sky, Discord, Twitter, Twitch, any of that, at Sigdakari, like you see at the bottom of your screen right there. Sasu, it has been a fantastic time commentating with you. Shout out to Cater for doing a great job streaming through all this adversity as well. And shout out to Dapple TOs for running another fantastic tourney.
Yeah. Wait, Sig, am I right? Can the people also find you in SAC? Is that
They can, yeah. I forgot that's coming up soon. Just a couple of weeks. Show up to SAC in a little bit. Support Yellow Jackets. We run some pretty fun comps, but that's gonna be a couple weeks. I might be back here again for another, Triton-Cup or paddling pool. Definitely gonna be fun to check out. We'll see y'all.
Bye.